Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen's security forces are impressive, yet something of a mixed bag. Her defense's most visible and famous line is the iconic tall hat Queen's Guard. While the Royal Guards are mostly known for their elaborate marching spectacles and unflinching poker face, they are very far from the joke some tourists stake them as and can perfectly mess you up if you overstep. Security personnel guard the Buckingham Palace 24/7 and are more conventional than the Queen's Guard in their toy uniforms. There was a case in which one of the security personnel nearly shot the Queen on one of her late-night strolls. However, when they need to keep Her Royal Highness safe, she's guarded by the Royal Protection Squad. This elite Scotland squad was formed in 1983 and reportedly consists of up to 185 specially trained officers with various degrees of James Bondness. They are responsible for providing around-the-clock security for the Queen, the rest of the royal family, and London's diplomats. Jeff Bezos. A new set of problems arise when you enter the rich and famous world. Safety and security. That would mean that the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, probably has to take precautions to ensure his own safety, right? Jeff Bezos has lots of bodyguards. Not only has he invested in the protection of his own personal bodyguards, but he also has to invest in other extensive security measures. With the amount of fortune he's amassed, Bezos has had to ensure the security of his friends, family, and close colleagues from any form of threat. Jeff Bezos has a net worth that sits somewhere around $200 billion, and with that much money, many safety concerns arise. Meanwhile, those safety concerns are not just for himself, but for family, friends, and close colleagues. People like kidnappers could try to hold him or his family for a massive ransom due to his wealth. Gavin de Becker, Bezos' chief of security, found that the Saudis were responsible for hacking Jeff Bezos' phone and sending private information to the National Enquirer. Being under the attack of an entire nation definitely means Bezos needs some backup. He uses Gavin de Becker's company Gavin de Becker and Associates for his own personal security due to the deep trust he has in them. According to recent reports, Jeff Bezos spends around $1.6 million a year on personal security. El Chapo Guzman. There are so many well-known names behind the prison walls. Yet, with all of that notoriety, no other prisoner is more heavily protected than Mr. Joaquin Guzman's, the Sinaloa cartel drug lord whom the world knows as El Chapo. El Chapo has been arrested several times and has always managed to escape his confinement. Since he was rearrested in 2016 and extradited to the United States, he now resides in prison in Manhattan, New York. The drug lord, who has a proven history of killing his enemies even in prison, is under watch 24 hours a day by armed guards, guarded by a different set of trained security personnel. He has to sleep in a separate cell each night, and a dog has to taste his food in case of poisoning. Mr. Guzman has complained about the prison condition, such as being locked in his cell for 23 hours a day. Except for his lawyer and court visits, he has been denied outside contact with his family and the media. He certainly has become an advocate for prison reform. Should this serial prison escapee accused of killing thousands during Mexico's bloody drug wars escape again, his entire heavy security group will face the wrath of his victims. Mark Zuckerberg. Nothing about Facebook is a secret anymore, including the SO's Mark Zuckerberg personal security budget. Since 2015, Mark Zuckerberg has spent around $20 million annually on security, with $7.3 million going towards his own personal bodyguards for his home and travels. These bodyguards are sometimes called Zuckerberg's secret police. Some rumors suggest the detail is made up of 16 full-time guards that work in shifts at all times. This amount of money in total is considered a record for security costs for any CEO of a large corporation. Under Mr. Zuckerberg's overall security program, Facebook pays for expenses related to personal security at his residences and during private trips. The company also covers the annual costs of the procurement, installation, and maintenance of specific security measures for his homes. The company saved Mark Zuckerberg's close protection officers go the extra mile to wear civilian clothes to stay hidden. Vladimir Putin. Like other political figures in Russia, Vladimir Putin is protected by the Federal Protective Service. However, Putin's people seem to be an entirely different bundle altogether. Little is known about the workings of Putin's arm in the Federal Protective Service, as there is no public data about its operations and publicly available reports. It's so secretive that only assumptions can be made about what they do. Vladimir himself is a controversial figure that has been at the center of media attention since his first acting presidency. It was noted that the man had started growing a sort of personality cult around him, similar to some previous leaders. Although there aren't any giant statues of him being put up, he has become an internet icon in his own right, which has kept him within the public realm. That, often, is something that doesn't come without its prices. Of course, the populist view of this leader is extremely polarized due to the political and financial corruption of his cabinet, which has resulted in countless protests, threats, and assassination attempts. All that has made it necessary for Putin to ramp up security in his own unique way. Former bodyguards for Russian President Vladimir Putin have gained immense power in exchange for their unquestioned loyalty. Mohammed bin Salman. Mohammed bin Salman is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, which has the world's greatest oil reserves and is home to some of the world's richest individuals. He also serves as the country's deputy prime minister, head of the Council for Economic and Development Affairs, and Minister of Defense. Salman has spent more than $20 billion on military weapons in recent years. Salman is recognized not only for his lavish houses, sports cars, exotic pets, and anything else worth millions of dollars, but also for being a cruel leader in any sense of the word, since he is infamous for assassinating anybody who opposes his regime internally or abroad. For this reason, and partially because of Saudi Arabia's long history of adversaries, it is apparent that he is one of the most well-protected persons on the earth, maybe even more so than his father, King Mohammed bin Salman. Jay-Z and Beyonce. The increase in the security of these superstars stepped up in 2013, when a fan dragged American singer Beyonce off the stage during a performance in Brazil. After the incident, her husband Jay-Z hired 5 new security guards added to the former 5 she already had. Also, she and her husband moves around in a bomb-proofed SUV similar to that of former President of America Obama, which reportedly cost $4 million. Beyonce is believed to be worth $470 million, while her husband Jay-Z is said to be worth $1 billion. Jay-Z is an American rapper, songwriter, producer, record executive, and businessman. He and Beyonce married in 2008 after 6 years of dating. They have 3 children. Bill Gates. He is a software developer, investor, and philanthropist. He lives in a mansion that is equipped with one of the most advanced security measures in the world. Whenever he travels to other country, he is escorted by a large security team. With a net worth of approximately $102.10 billion, it's easy to see why he must be so careful. Tom Cruise, an American actor and producer, said to be one of the most searched people on Google. He is popular and he knows it. That's why he surrounds himself with the best bodyguards in the business. His ex-wife and daughter are also heavily protected with guards following them wherever they go. His home is heavily guarded with military precision and also running extensive background checks on employees.